So you're lying there comfy cozy in bed, right? And you just got there. It feels great. You're tired after a long day. You close your eyes and you can't sleep. Your brain's going a million miles an hour. You're thinking about a conversation you had this morning. Maybe you had a little too much coffee. Maybe your bed just can't be comfortable for you, and you toss and turn. And then, of course, you can't sleep because you're busy thinking about how bad tomorrow is going to be if you don't get any sleep. Yeah, I've been there. So for my entire life, I had trouble falling asleep. I remember being 7 or 8 years old, wondering why I had to go to bed at 8 p.m. if I didn't fall asleep until 10 p.m., right? Why? But if I stretched my bedtime later, as I got older and was able to do that, what I found was it still took me a long time to go to sleep. So in order to be well rested for the next day, I had to go to bed early. I was the college student. It was me who was complaining about your loud music, because quiet hours start at 10, gosh darn it, and I want to sleep because I have a morning shift tomorrow. So if you're with me, if sleep is tough, if you've ever had trouble with this, here are my tried and true practical tips for sleeping like a baby. Not my baby who woke up 9 times a night most nights, but like a baby in a cartoon. You put it to bed and it's down for the whole night. Then it wakes up refreshed and renewed. So here's my guide. Alright, we're starting from the moment of bed when you're trying to fall asleep, and then we'll work backward. So tip number 1 is yoga nidra. Andrew Huberman, a Stanford neuroscientist, talks about this a ton. He does deep dives on the science. I'm not a scientist. It's not my job. I'm just bringing you a technique or a modality that you can experiment with yourself. So yoga nidra, you could also call it a body scan, where you spend time focusing on different areas of your body, work your way up or down, depending on where you start, and feel your way into each of those spaces. This helps you to relax. It brings attention away from your mind and your thoughts, down deeper into your body. There's a bunch of free stuff online. YouTube's a great resource for this. I recommend Andrew Huberman's Yoga Nidra meditation. So that's free. It's about 10 minutes long. You can do that if you sleep with your phone right next to you, but then turn it on airplane mode. And there's also the Mindvalley Silva centering meditation exercise. And that's about 15, 18 minutes once you skip the preamble, something along those lines. But each of these has a body scan component. And if I feel like I've done everything right, get to bed and still can't sleep, this can be really helpful. So when you're there, dreading the next morning, stop letting your mind loop on the negative and apply yourself to doing some rest and relaxation with a meditation technique. All right, this is zoomed up close because the next thing has to do with your eyes. This is another Huberman thing, but I'm also borrowing from Barry Margulin, from some other people who work on energy or do meditative things from Eastern practices. So look at my eyes and notice how blue that's not part of it. Look at my eyes, and what I want you to see if you can sense, I'm not sure how well this will turn up on the camera, when my eyes are focused on a specific point, and right now I'm looking directly at the camera, I'm seeing that in as close, fine, tiny detail as I can. When my eyes are super focused, my body is also focused. I'm aiming at something, I'm directed somewhere. So this energizes rather than relaxing. If you do a lot of phone work, if you do a lot of computer work, even reading, then this is going to be your default mode. And this can be really difficult to overcome when you're sleeping. It can even lock up some of the muscles in your neck. So what I want you to try is to go into panoramic, diffuse, IMAX theater mode, where you soften the gaze, you see everything, you're using your entire peripheral range. I think of this as zoning out, maybe daydreaming. So we've all seen that student looking out the window, right? They're not glued to the board with their focus. They're relaxed and they're thinking about something out there, outside. So play with this. And to tell you the truth, I like to combine my meditation and body scan with diffuse focus. Well, okay, but how do you do it with your eyes closed? Practice it with your eyes open so you can tell if you're doing it, and then close your eyes. Try to soften your gaze, even with your eyelids closed, and look at all the little twinkly lights. Twinkly lights, yeah. Look at all the little twinkly lights in your gaze, okay? So from there, that helps the eyes to relax. It helps to soften your mental focus as well as your physical focus, and it may even loosen up some of the muscles in your neck. Feels amazing. All right, so here's the last one while we're still in bed. No, this isn't a bed, it's a sauna blanket, but you know, I gotta fit my stuff in during my kid's nap. So I want you to focus on your breathing. And again, you can start to combine this with the other steps that we've talked about. But if you breathe quick and shallow, your body is in a state of fight or flight. It's ready. It's prepared for physical exertion. If you slow down your breath, especially if you focus on the exhale and making that long and relaxed, then you're going to bring your body into this state of relaxation, okay? Part of that has to do with slowing down your heart and the size of the chambers as you breathe. So breathing in, let's see if I can get this right. Breathing in increases the lung volume and puts extra pressure on the heart. So it occupies slightly less physical space and it's pumping quicker. When you breathe out and you start to decrease lung volume, your heart relaxes in that space. It has less pressure on it. So as it opens, your breathing sort of governs that heart slowdown. Okay? So breathing in, and there's different modalities, there's different timings here, but you could breathe in for 4, hold at the top for a couple seconds, and then breathe out for 7. Hold at the bottom for a couple seconds and repeat. I don't make sound as I breathe normally. That was just to illustrate. But some people talk about the benefits of projecting through the passage you're breathing through. So I like nasal breathing because it engages the diaphragm more. Last note on breathing, when you breathe in, you want to feel your tummy rise. Okay, if you ever watch a baby sleeping, you'll see this. So when that breath happens, when it comes in, your diaphragm drops, which increases its volume within your body. Not math, don't get mad at me if I'm using the word wrong, but as it increases, as it opens and takes up more space in your stomach, in your abdominal cavity. There we go. As it increases in space, it will also compress everything down below it, which makes the tummy rise a bit. Okay, so you want to feel that breath fill you from the bottom up, and the last thing to move would be the chest. All right, so slow, deep, nasal breathing with a focus on a longer exhale. Next on the list, these, I should say. Don't use technology within an hour and a half of bed. This is probably going to seem like the biggest ask, right? Like, how could you say that? Don't use a Kindle to read. Don't use a phone to watch videos on YouTube. Don't use your laptop to watch Netflix. Don't watch TV. Don't play video games to wind down. How could I say that to you? Well, it's pretty important actually. Blue light is a buzzword right now, right? But basically, blue light is most present at noon in a natural light environment. There isn't a lot of it after noon, and there isn't a lot of it before noon. So when your body sees blue light, it's keyed in to think, oh, this is noon, which is going to have all kinds of effects on your biology, on your circadian rhythms, on your metabolism even. So if you want to be ready for bed at bedtime, and if you want to fall asleep like a baby, then you can't be checking your phone a couple minutes before bed. What if, though, you're like some people I know, and you fall asleep looking at your phone, right? I couldn't do that, so that doesn't work for me personally. You might be able to fall asleep regardless, but the quality of your sleep is going to be impacted. So I would still say, don't look at your phone within an hour and a half of bed. If that sounds impossible, there's ways to cheat that. Okay, stick around to the end, because my glasses are one of the ways that I cheat it, and that's going to be a bonus item on the list. Next up, you're going to want to do some soft tissue work. Imagine if you had a private massage therapist who lived with you and always wanted to work. All right, how great would that feel? Well, you can, and you sort of do. I have here a itty bitty peanut ball. I lie on that and roll on it on my back. This digs in either side of my spine, helps me to relax. Over here, I have Kelly Starrett's version of a foam roller. It's this ball, which is nice and rigid, but it has all these little surfaces on it. It's made out of rubber, so there's a lot of torque and shear, so it releases the muscles quicker. Okay, and right here, I have this nice spiky foam roller. It looks like a piece of really aggressive fruit, but the idea is all these little corners dig in kind of like fingers. So these are all tools for foam rolling, and there's stuff on the internet that you can look at, right? This requires further research, but this is like giving yourself a massage right before bed. If you want to multiply the effects of it, do some stretching too. I'm constantly stretching and moving around, working on my mobility, like to the point where it makes other people annoyed with me. But this is a huge factor in my ability to fall asleep. Normally when I can't fall asleep now, it's because I've missed something that I didn't realize was tight. So I get out of bed and I go back downstairs and I stretch my hip flexors, or I roll my quads on this guy right here. It's one of those things that hurts real good, but it's important, and I think you'll see a lot of benefit if you start doing 10 minutes of this right before bed. This one might be tough for the single folks, so I apologize. Snuggle with somebody right before bed. Okay? If you can't, you want to do the massage, you want to do the foam rolling, you want to do the stretching, because those are going to boost the chemicals in your brain responsible for relaxation and ultimately for sleep. But if you can snuggle, it's a way to multiply those effects again. It's going to boost those same chemicals. It's going to give you a quicker, easier sleep. I'm going from telling you to snuggle with someone to telling you never turn on a light in your house. Okay? I'm going to qualify it a little bit. If you can avoid turning on overhead lights in your house after dark, that's going to give you a leg up on getting to sleep quick. Okay? Imagine going outside at noon with the sun high in the sky. You're going to wake up. Your body's going to realize it's not time to sleep. It's time to be out and active. Okay? The same thing happens to a lesser degree when you turn on indoor lights, especially after dark. Especially the later you get closer to sleep. Now, those lights are much dimmer than the sun. So maybe you're like, why does it even matter? Right? Why can't I look at my phone? Why can't I flip on the light in the kitchen and do some dishes? Well, your body is programmed to expect light at certain parts of the day. Okay? It's brightest at noon. But when it's dark outside, your body expects it to be darker. There are physiological responses we're all familiar with, like your pupils dilate, okay, based on the light in the environment. So we want to give the body the signals that it is time to sleep. And the way that you do that is by exposing yourself to some darkness, okay? That's going to allow your body to get into the routine of sleep prep. Goes back about an hour and a half. Your body starts to produce melatonin once it's dark, okay? And we're talking like dark. So if you're outside under street lights at night, it's not dark as far as your body can tell. So your melatonin production will be reduced, if not prevented entirely. So turn off the indoor lights, especially the really, really blue, nasty, fluorescent ones. Especially the ones above your head, okay? If you want to get like a red bulb for a reading lamp that's down below eye level, okay, that can be good. I have a salt lamp right over there. It's actually on right now. That's a dim light, but I found personally that did affect my sleep and how quickly I can get to it. So again, some of these you'll have to figure out what your sensitivity to these stimuli is. I'm very sensitive to the light, and that was part of the problem for me trying to sleep throughout my life. This is going to seem a little silly as a person who's a martial artist, and all of the workouts that I do are indoors under fluorescent lights, and typically they are at night because that's when people can attend after work. But don't do heavy workouts at night, especially not after dinner, okay? Your body is going to expect a period of wind down after the last meal. Your body is going to expect a period of wind down to begin sometime around when it's dark outside, right? Your circadian rhythm is coded to particular time lengths throughout the day. The day is approximately 24 hours, right? Morning, noon, night, and then night cycle. And your body recognizes that because it would have been exposed to it in nature. So for years and years, like we're talking millions, however long mammals have been around, right? This is what their biology has been programmed to deal with. So we want to leverage that and take advantage of it. Okay? No hard workouts, if you can help it, after dinner, after dark. I cheat on this one a little bit, where I'd never do karate, but you gotta be judicious with it, right? When are you doing your workout? Is it at midnight? Because I don't recommend that. Does it finish at 8:30 p.m.? Then you drive home and you do your wind down until 10:30? Because that one is going to produce a much different result for you and for your sleep than going to bed at 1 a.m. after a midnight workout would. Yep. Okay, so speaking of food, remember, your body is keyed to expect certain signals to prepare it to do certain things. So the closer to bedtime you eat, the more it ramps up your body, it demands energy to process food, and you're not done with food after you stop feeling full, right? Your body's still processing that until you eliminate that waste. So the cycle that you initiate when you eat works against the cycle you're trying to initiate when you're preparing for bed, okay? I avoid eating, let's say like 3 hours before bed. Sometimes I cheat on that a little bit. I'm hardline about 2 hours. So if I'm really hungry and I've got 3 hours before bed, I'll eat a little something. But I'll make sure it's only 20 minutes into that window. So I'm still getting 2 hours, 40 minutes or so. You know what I mean? So it's not hardline per se, but if you're gonna open the fridge, it shouldn't be close to bedtime. So speaking of what you eat, fruits and veggies, preferably organic, we want to give you the maximum nutrition with the minimum, let's say, crap, okay? The sleepy chemicals that your body needs to produce are built on what you intake. People say leafy greens. You want magnesium. You want things that help you to produce oxytocin, all the precursors. Because that oxytocin, unless I'm very mistaken, leads to melatonin, okay? You may wish to supplement with magnesium. This is BioOptimizers, which I like. They don't sponsor me. I wish they did. Make them sponsor me. But I found that magnesium really helpful. So supplementing with something, magnesium, is going to help to produce the sleepy chemicals, and that'll help you to fall asleep. Next one's pretty easy. Go outside sometimes. Your body's going to check in with the natural light to know what time it is, to reinforce those signals. So you want to go out. It's also good because you move. So physically, mentally, I don't know about spiritually, definitely emotionally though. All these things are going to be really helpful. So like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, a couple times a day, all right? And while we're here, try to go outside first thing in the morning, 5 to 10 minutes. Even on a cloudy day, the light is going to be so much different than what you'd get inside. And actually, you need a lot more light in the morning than you would at night. So the measure of lux, right? The measure of light. You go outside and measure it, it's huge compared to what you get inside from a overhead kitchen light. In the morning, that matters a lot. But as you get closer to bedtime, your body is going to become more and more sensitive to light, where it expects that there should be none. Maybe starlight, moonlight, right? But these very red and very dim, by comparison to the sun, types of light, okay? Those are actually supportive of sleep, starlight, moonlight. Street light, not so much. When I was a wee little boy, this one would have been real tough. So it's another hard thing I'm asking you to do. Sorry. Get up at the same time every day. Don't sleep in. At first, you're going to need an alarm. Eventually, you might not. Okay, right now I rely on special wake-up calls, but I'm not perfect either. I'm still figuring some stuff out. I have gotten to the point where I wake up without an alarm consistently at the same time each day. And actually, this is pre-child. Children mess with sleep. This was pre-child. I was at the point where I would wake up 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. My alarm wasn't going to go off till 6:30 or 7. So I'd have that extra time. And if I'd felt tired, I would have just stayed in bed. But I would wake up, I would feel rested, and I'd be like, ooh, I'm going to get some extra reading. I'm going to get some extra stretching, whatever. I'm going to foam roll, right? So I'd get that extra time because I felt great. So that's what I want for you. And it's not easy to attain, but you can find it, especially if you start to implement some of these changes, okay? I didn't start all at once, so you don't have to go, all right, all 14 things on the list, here we go. I'm never gonna see another friend or go out to dinner or have a cheat meal again, right? You don't need to do that, okay? But if you start implementing a few of these changes that you think you can handle in the course of, I don't know, a couple days or weeks, then this is going to yield huge dividends for your sleep down the road, okay? You'll feel happier, healthier, you'll be fitter, you'll meet your goals more often. So it's just a win-win-win. Win-win-win-win-win. All right, so here's a bonus, and this is something I do. If you just can't imagine cutting out tech and cutting out overhead lights and doing all that goodness, then this is what you should start with. So I wear these, which are always crooked because people punch me in the face with sparring and karate. But I wear these during the day when I'm inside. And these cut out some of the blue light from artificial sources. So I went from staring at a computer all the time during Zoom culture at the height of COVID, and I had eye strain, headaches, tension in my neck and jaw. I had all those things every single day. It was rough. I put these on because I was like, maybe it'll help. And like, I'm telling you, like that, gone, okay? So it made me feel so much better. These are the daylight ones. They're amber tinted, they're blue blockers. So they help, like I said, screen out some of that blue. Not all of it, because during the day you do want some. Again, the height of blue light in nature is at noon, okay? But round about bedtime, I swapped to these. These are my sleep goggles. They're red, so they screen out everything except for the red light, and they make you look kind of like a space cadet or, I don't know, like serial killer or something. But I don't typically wear them outside the house. So those glasses, those help you to produce melatonin. There's some trouble I found with really high yield light sources. So if you like go and stare into a fluorescent flashlight with those reds on, even if you don't get any light leakage, the strength of that red light may stop you from producing melatonin to get to sleep. However, if you're just like looking at your phone and you have it down dim and you want those crazy red things on, that's gonna block that phone light and you'll continue to work on your melatonin production. So I've found those really, really helpful. If you want to check those out, I have a link in my bio to True Dark, which is the company that makes these. They're not the only one on the market, but I've really appreciated them. I thought every interaction I had with customer service was great, and even more importantly, this type of glasses, this is metal rim, and anytime it's been hit in karate, I've been able to bend it back to a usable position, okay? Yeah, it's a little bit crooked, but I don't wear these for fashion, okay? Comments in the down low to the contrary, I'm sure. All right. That was a bonus.